Good evening, everyone, and thank you very much for joining us for our final webinar of the year, Setting Up for Success in 2025. I'm Val, B2B Growth Manager at Pebble, and I'm happy to be here with Holly, one of our Customer Success Managers. So in today's webinar, Holly will be guiding us through some key tools to help you hit the ground running next year, including setting up term dates in Pebble to streamline your scheduling process, making the most of the new schedule functionality to optimize class management, and also showing us some practical examples to help you implement these tools effectively. We'll wrap up with a dedicated Q&A session, giving you the chance to ask Holly any questions you may have. So yeah, that's it. Without further ado, Holly, over to you.
Thank you so much, Val. So yeah, as Val says, here's a little bit of an agenda for this evening. We're essentially going to be looking at how the functionality for the new scheduling feature works and the benefits of using it, why I use it, and why it's one of my favorite feature releases to date. We'll be starting off with setting up some term dates, what that means, how to do it, and then we'll move on to what is a schedule, how is it different from an activity, how to create them, and step by step walking through how that's different to the sort of old process that we used to have in the back end of the system. And then we'll kind of flip over to the parent journey and how you can apply this to 4 different real life scenarios. And then, finishing off with a Q&A at the end. Before we get going, a little intro. So I'm Holly, one of our customer success managers here at Pebble, and I work alongside Morgana and Jack as the customer success managers. And we also have Beverly, who's our onboarding specialist, part of the CS team. So how to set up term dates on Pebble and the sort of benefits for setting them up. This is the real sort of foundation to setting your schedules out. I like to think as term dates as term date templates, and you can set these up to use sort of later down the line and save you on time. The reason I really, really love this one, you can kind of look at those dates once if you're doing school calendars and you're looking at school term times, you can set them up once and you don't have to look at those horrendously confusing term date documents to keep checking when there's an inset day, when there's a bank holiday. You can just kind of set it up once, have it all running in the background, and have it there. So what this might look like for some people is a simple spring, autumn, winter term. Some people will have schools operating against across different boroughs. So you might have spring borough 1, spring borough 2 for your different term dates. Or if you're sort of a baby and toddler class provider, you might even set this up completely different in sort of 5-week periods at a time for different themes that you might have. So you might have your dinosaurs theme and then your fairies theme. You can pre-plan your dates out in advance so you know exactly what you're doing and have them all set up and working for you. It's really, really flexible to you. So what I'll do, I'll show you how to set this up now on Pebble. So if we go with the example of spring term, we can click onto term dates just here. And then in here, we can write in spring term. We can select what day this is going to start. So if we was to say 1st of January, we can go all the way through until sort of the end of March. And then what we can go in and do is put any off days. So if we know that this week, for example, is a school holiday, we can just turn all these dates off. Maybe we've got a inset day, bank holiday, whatever it might be, we can also turn that one off. Once we then add that, it's going to pop over here, and that's been added. We can then use this sort of later down the line, just to sort of save time and not have to keep thinking, what day did that term start, or when are the days off? It's going to remember all of that for you. So you can keep adding different ones here. And again, you could add, it can be completely flexible to sort of whatever needs you may have. What is then super valuable from there is we can keep using that and keep coming back to check it. So we can view those term dates. We can see that this has this week off. So you can sort of keep referencing back to it as well. Now, if we move on to what is a schedule and why is that sort of important, the key question that we always get asked is what's the difference between an activity and a schedule? So sort of as we walk through the admin side of it, the user journey and the parent journey, we'll look at different aspects and I'll call out what parts belong to the activity level, and what parts belong to the schedule level. But essentially, I like to think of a schedule as a group of time or sessions. So it could be a term, it could be a week of a camp, or a block of a certain theme. However, we're going to sort of group together time in our activities. That's how we're going to be thinking about the schedule. That'll look different for every business, but what it's going to essentially help you to do is list classes further in advance that can encourage a higher average order value, and make it really, really easy for your families to book, book once for different activities that you might have over the Christmas period. You might have different workshops or things going on, and they can book all in one place. So often we hear that parents are sort of leaving camps bookings right until the last minute. And I guess imagine a world where in November you put out your bookings, your holiday camp bookings, and you not only get signups for winter camp, but you also get signups for February camp, maybe even Easter camp. And it's not a thing of science fiction. This is actually already happening with some of our providers that are making use of this feature, putting in the, they're getting bookings for winter, but they're also getting families booking for February. And that really, really helps, not only sort of financially increasing that average order value, but also operationally it helps you plan. And hopefully over time, we can kind of change how far in advance parents are booking. Additionally, you do have that sort of one link for an activity. So you have an activity and then schedules live inside that activity. That then can have its own QR code and its own URL. So you can sort of direct people through flyers at that location. So you can stick up a flyer on the notice board at the church hall that you're running at, and parents can always scan that and know the new dates that are being added. You're not going to have to keep changing that flyer. So that's really beneficial as well. And then finally, parents can only book what you have bookable. So if you want to increase your bookings, I'd strongly advise to start putting your availability on further in advance and really driving parents to book further in advance so that they know what you've got going on. What we'll do now is just jump back over to Pebble, and I'll show you sort of what belongs on the activity level and what belongs on the schedule level. So if we go into scheduled activities just here, we're going to look at this camp example first. We can go over and edit. And then just here, we've got the activity. So anything from the details page is going to be activity, what I refer to as activity level. So the activity name, description, age range, location, and all the imagery. But then as soon as we get through to the schedule part here, this is where sort of the new functionality comes into play. So we can add more than one sort of date range to this now activity. And these are our schedules just here. So you can see I've got Christmas camp, week 1, week 2, Easter camps, summer camps, and so on. We can create a new schedule here and just keep adding them. It's going to pop up this lovely little sidebar just here. Or we can also clone any of these as well, which is just going to sort of pre-populate all that data just for us to do a little adjustment and tweak to. So everything between the schedule and the add-ons now can be sort of really tied in to one schedule in particular. So what that means is on our capacity tab, each schedule now has its own capacity. So maybe at Christmas, we have a capacity of 30, but during Easter, we want to turn that up to 40. Maybe in summer, we want to turn that up to 60. So we can really sort of be dynamic with this and see everything in one place and manage it all in one place up here. We then jump forward to tickets. This is where we can really get dynamic with pricing, price increases, only showing certain tickets at certain times. So you'll see just here, this week ticket is available on these multiple schedules here. So we've got Christmas camp week 1 all the way through, but it's not available in the summer. That's because in the summer, we've got a slightly different price and it involves something quite different. So we've got the regular camp price here, or we've got camp with horse riding. And you'll see that these ones are not available at Christmas and only available from the summer. Now, when I show providers this page, sometimes we're like, whoa, that's a lot of tickets. But the parents are only going to see the tickets that are assigned to the schedule that they're looking at that time. So they're only going to see, what their options are at that time. Again, add-ons, exactly the same. We can assign these specifically to a schedule. So we can go into the edit icon and then remove any schedules that it doesn't apply to. And we could have, one schedule that has one set of add-ons and another schedule that has a different set of add-ons. Then we go to questions, and then it's back at the activity level. So it's kind of everything between schedule and add-ons. We can really customize that to the time frame that it belongs to, essentially. Now, that's quite a lot of information, and you're probably thinking, like, how's that relevant to you and your business? We're going to now sort of walk through some examples. So we're going to walk through a camp example, an after-school club example, a wraparound care example, and baby and toddler, and just kind of look at how those different types of providers might use this feature quite differently. If I show you over here on a camp example, this is how it would look to one of your parents. So everything on this left-hand side here, essentially, so the camp name, the images, the description, the location, all of that is what I call activity level. Whereas our schedule is this little drop down here. And this is going to show us, okay, Christmas camp, week 1, these are the dates that it runs between. This is the times that it runs, and I can click on that, click a date. Maybe I want the 12th of December. I'm going to choose my ticket. I'm going to go for that day ticket, add that to my basket, and you'll see this now lives in my basket just over here. The reason that I get really excited about this feature is we can go forward and book for February as well. That makes it so super easy for your parents to just come on and book all their childcare at once, or all of their activities, all of their classes that they want, that you have available at that time in sort of one transaction there. So we can now just come back up to here. And for Easter, maybe I want to book the whole week. So view the dates just here. Now choose the ticket. I'm going to go for the week ticket and add that to my basket. And then I can see both of those things in my basket ready to be checked out at once. So that's kind of one way to use it for your camps. You can have each week as its own schedule. We can then assign different pricing to it. We can still book it as a block or as individual sessions, depending on your setup. But yeah, it's a really nice way to put sort of multiple weeks in your basket at once. If we come over to after school clubs, we can think of even more uses for it. Now, if you run at a school where you've got football on a Monday, dance on a Tuesday, lots of different activities going on, you could actually put this all under one activity to make it nice and easy for your families to book in one transaction. The only thing you would have to sort of be mindful of is that this left-hand side, the activity level, you don't have sort of ultimate control over the images and everything that you have going on that side. So all of this would stay the same. So you could show multiple activities. You could show one picture for football, one picture for dance, and you've got up to 4 images to really sort of showcase what you have on offer. But you can use this here all nicely, and then we'll be able to add football into the basket in the exact same way. And maybe we'll want to go and add tennis as well on this date into the basket. So that's sort of another example. Wraparound care is where this gets really interesting. So we can go and do lots of different things here. You can see I've got spring term 3. So I can book, maybe I want to book all Mondays for the breakfast club for this 8 to 9. I can go in, choose my ticket, again, add that to the basket. And then maybe for spring 4, I only want after school club. I can add that in separately as well. It's a really nice functionality for parents to quickly come in and add all Mondays, then all Tuesdays, and then maybe some sporadic Wednesdays, however they kind of want to use that. The last and final way, which is where it kind of, I've got some more examples of where we can differentiate the different schedules here, is we've got this play session activity sort of set up for parent and baby toddler classes. So what you could do here, and this is where you'll sort of see it a little bit more, we could have this dinosaur theme, fairies theme, and unicorns theme. Now here, this isn't running on a standard term date. We're looking at this as a group of time. So from the 6th of January to the 26th of February, we're running this dinosaur class, and we're running it at 2 different time slots throughout the day. So we've got this 10 to 11 or 11:15 to 12:15. You can see there's an overlap with the time here, so you can have 2 schedules running at the same time. It's just sort of to put a container around, your time and how you want it to be booked. So we could come onto this fairy schedule, and I want to book every Monday at 11 for this fairy schedule. I can see all 9 dates here. Pop that in the basket. Choose those tickets. And then maybe I just want to book one unicorn session, which is on the 4th. Now, this is actually a special event, and we have more going on. So the ticket price is slightly higher for this. So when it comes to choose tickets, you'll see that this is now £7.50. I'm not sort of overwhelmed with a bunch of different ticket options. It's still calling it a standard ticket. It's just showing me it's a different price. So I can now add that as well. More so, if we come through sort of the parent journey and booking as a guest, we can use different add-ons here as well. I just sign in. I'm just going to add my test child to both of these bookings. So what I want to show you is the add-ons here, because I've assigned different add-ons to each schedule. So just down here on that unicorns schedule, I've assigned a unicorn teddy. So we can add that to the basket. If I show you how that looks in the back end, just over here, it'll actually make a little bit more sense, sort of the difference in price that we've got, and also the difference in add-ons. So play example, we go and have a look at the configuration of this activity. You can see I've got 3 schedules set here. The dinosaurs, the fairies, and the unicorns. And then we've got our different capacities. But here's where it gets interesting. So I've got a standard ticket and a standard ticket, but you'll see that they're assigned to different schedules just here. So we've got dinosaurs, and if we check in here, we can see what else is assigned to. So our standard ticket on the dinosaurs and the fairies is £5. Over here on the unicorns, it's £7.50. And again, on add-ons, we can assign these to different schedules as well. So this one's only assigned to dinosaurs, unicorns is only assigned to unicorns, and so on and so forth. So you can see how quite quickly you can make a really complex pricing strategy, sessions, different date ranges. But you can really optimize and make it streamlined for your customers on their end. If I quickly show you as well, we can create a schedule from scratch together. So we're going to call this Trolls Term. So we pop that in. Maybe this is running as a special event from the 17th to the 28th. And it's going to run on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 2 different times. So we can say it's from 10 to 11 and then 11 to 12. Just click up here, copy that time down and save. That's where it's going to add our new one just here. You can see we've got the Tuesday and the Thursday, and it's at multiple times. We can then just click in and edit any of those if we need to. If you do take a booking and you see any little padlocks on this schedule, you'll have another option here to request schedule updates from your CSM. They'll be able to go in and make some amendments for you. So yeah, don't panic if it's all got locks next to it. It's just so that we can make sure that your bookings are all sort of safe and secure in the background, and you don't go and delete sessions without meaning to or anything like that. But you can reach out to us and we can get that updated, but you'll find just under here a little button that will help you request those updates nice and easily. And then, yeah, we can make those updates for you. Again, you might then come across some error messages just here. So it wouldn't let me save because I don't actually have a ticket for my Trolls term. So then I get to choose, am I going to use this standard ticket or this standard ticket, or is it going to be a new price? So if we say this is a new price, we can still call it standard ticket. We can then assign it just to this Trolls term, and maybe it's going to be £10 per session. and then save that. We'll create a standard ticket on our individual sessions, again for £10, only on our trolls session. If I then save that, we're just going to add some capacity. When we come back to this activity, you'll now see the new trolls term just down here. And if I book in a date, it's going to show me that £10 session. So that's kind of how to build out a new one and the differences that we can do. And yeah, we can get quite complex and dynamic if we want to do different pricing structures, different add-ons, you name it. I'm sure it's flexible enough for you to do it. So yeah, really excited to see sort of what we can do with that and what creative ways it can be used. That's essentially the scheduling tool in a nutshell. It's a big difference, but a lot of providers, once they kind of get their head around the different change and what's an activity versus what's a schedule, they see the value when they start using it, and they can add those sets of dates in. That's our quick run through. Does anyone have any questions?
Hi. I'm sorry, I just don't know how to raise the hand anymore. I'm just looking for it, but I'm
That's
just
okay.
Okay. Thank you, Holly. That's great because that was one of the questions I was asking myself. Sorry, I'm just going to put my camera on. It's a bit rude otherwise.
No worries. Hello.
So yeah, so that means talking about schedule. That means that I've got my activity. I'm doing French. I've got a French club in school.
Yeah.
So I would say, okay, the activity is for Key Stage 1 French, and then for the schedule, I can schedule it for the autumn term, spring term, and summer term. And then
Absolutely.
the parents just click through the button and say, okay, now I can pay for the summer term or spring term.
Yeah.
Okay,
absolutely. Yeah, so they could add the spring term to their basket, then go and add the summer term, and then they can check out in one transaction. So rather than them having to go every 6 weeks or every 12 weeks, however you do it, termly or half termly, they can just go and I know I want that for the whole time they're in year one, and they're going to book all those classes. It just helps parents do it up front.
Okay, now I understand. So that means that I don't need to create multiple class, like one class for spring, one class for autumn. Okay, that's fantastic.
No, you can kind of house it all under one activity. And then I know for some schools, they'll put like your booking link on there and say, click here to click French. School hasn't then got to go and update that link, because all your new dates we can now upload to that activity as schedules. And that link will always stay live that way. So they can just go on and see the new dates as we keep adding.
Okay, well, that's great. That's going to tidy up my page.
Yeah, absolutely.
There are so many classes created, and I was not too sure about how to, what would be the impact if I was going to put some schedule, and I didn't know what the parents sees as well at the other side. So
absolutely. Yeah, so they get that nice sort of drop down, and it sort of shows the dates, the times that are available. So maybe in spring term you run the class on Mondays, but from the summer term it's going to move to a Wednesday. You can show that date change really nicely on there, so the families know, or if times are changing or price is changing. All those things are kind of tied to the schedule themselves rather than just the activity.
Okay, all right, thank you so much.
You're so welcome. Bye.
So, Holly, we have a question from Navinder here in the chat. It says, hi, Holly. If I have a customer that has opted for session in the summer term from now, but then they are not available, what do we do?
Yeah, absolutely. So you can move, depending on sort of your booking policy and your terms and conditions, if they're eligible to be moved, we can actually move them from one activity to another. Now, I don't know if in our test account we have an example, but essentially you can move this from the register. Let me just have a quick little look if we've got any bookings. I don't think we do. I can probably show you in this one. I'm just trying to find a register with a booking. So yeah, we can go on to the activity that we're trying to move them from. And then we've got Ben Jackson here. This is all sort of test dummy data. So if we wanted to move Ben from this class to another one, all we'd have to do is click on move, click his name here, and then click the move icon here. We can then either move this session. So if we're moving like a group of sessions, like a block, we can say this plus all remaining sessions of the term, or maybe we're just moving him from this particular day to another day, just the one off. So we can say this session and move them to a different class. So maybe we're moving into the cooking club just on this day. We can select the date and the time, click next, confirm that move, and then it's going to pop a text to the Guardian to say that there's been a move, and also a full confirmation of the booking email will go out as well. So that's that one. Any other questions? I'll move on to sort of resources and where to get help. But if anyone does have any more questions that they want to pop in the chat, we can sort of close off with any more questions that you might have. So if we have a little look, where can you get more help on this? Let's go back to this one. So our help center is full of sort of handy resources and guides that are going to walk you through each topic step by step. So we've got ones about scheduling. All of our guides have been updated for anything that changes with scheduling update. So everything should be up to date for you. We've also got our chatbot that can answer most of your questions or help you find sort of related help center articles. And it even passes you through to a human if you can't resolve it. So you're not going to be sitting talking to a robot all night, and it'll pass you through to a human. It isn't a 24/7 instant chat, but it will come through to one of our team and we'll be able to help you. Or if you needed sort of more strategic support and advice, you can book in a call with your customer success manager using the calendar link, or reach out via email for more support. Quick way to sort of find those resources, just in your Pebble platform here, you've got the help center down here. That's going to link you out to a handy dandy resource guide. So you've got everything from getting started to building activities and holiday camps, managing a booking. Everything you might need is in here, and you can also search for it. So if we wanted to move an attendee, we can just put our keywords up here, and it's going to pop up lots of helpful articles. Again, to chat to Finn, who's our AI bot, you can just say, talk to us. It's going to pop up down here, and he's really, really helpful. But as I say, if he doesn't have the answer right away, or he's not understanding your question, you'll come through to one of the team anyway. And then finally, reach out to your customer success manager if you want that sort of more strategic help and advice. If you've got a new idea for a session and you're not sure how to get the configuration just right, sort of reach out to us and we can help you with that. So sort of my challenge for you guys is to have a little look at what you're planning for 2025, and this is the perfect time to do it. How can you sort of take what we've walked through today and take this new functionality and make 2025 more successful than ever? So I would challenge you to sort of plan ahead and make full use of this. How far in advance can you get on there? Can you look at the rest of the academic year? Do you want to look all the way up until next Christmas and get those dates on? Because families can only book what you put live. So, you know, it's a way to increase your bookings. Only sit down and do the admin for it once. The possibilities and the sort of benefits are endless. So I would really, really challenge you to have a little look over the festive period and plan your 2025 ahead of the new year. Finally, thank you so much for being a part of Pebble. Thanks for your time this evening. We're so grateful to be working with each and every one of you and really value you being part of the Pebble community. If we have no final questions, have a lovely evening, everyone. And thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. See you later.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Holly.
You're welcome. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.